Hi, hope you're doing well. Welcome to my channel. You can call me Girl Exasperated. I just want to put out a quick disclaimer. I am not a mental health professional. I am not qualified to give you any sort of advice. I am just a girl who shares her experiences, her thoughts, and feelings on the internet. Um, and this is a safe space for people who feel deeply and anyone that has ever felt that they don't belong. You belong here. Um, I just wanted to talk a little bit about change and changing. For a lot of my life, I've really struggled to know who I am as a person. I really wanted to nail it down, to nail down who I was to this neat, tiny little package that I could use to explain to people, in part because I have felt so misunderstood across my life. I often had the experience where I felt like it didn't matter what words I used in the English language. It fell on deaf ears, and it almost felt as if I was speaking some sort of alien language, just based off of the reactions that I would get. In that it seemed difficult for others to understand me. And that's part of what led me to have this relentless drive to want to dig into the very depths of who I am and pull out something tangible. And if there's anything that I've learned over the years, it's that as people, we're never just one thing. And we're so many things. And sometimes we're something, and then another day we're something else. And maybe we'll feel that something again, or maybe that something will morph into a different something. I know that's so vague, but it means something to me. But I was so focused on asking the questions, am I good? Am I mean? Am I generous? Or am I stingy? Am I thoughtful? Or am I mindless? And I think that in looking at human traits like that, it's not so helpful. But I understand that need that I had for certainty. I felt that I was so mischaracterized and so misunderstood by other people that I needed to have these very black and white ideas of who I was so that I could say, no, I'm not who you think I am. I'm not entirely selfish. I'm not entirely lazy. I'm not entirely unable to recognize the needs of others. Just every criticism that I would receive because of the uncertainty that I felt surrounding my own identity, it would color my whole person. If someone said you're selfish, that's all I am. I'm not a girl. I'm not a daughter. I'm not a writer. I'm not a thinker. I'm not a lover of unicorns. I'm not a lover of Winona Ryder. I'm not someone who likes routines. I'm not any of those things. I'm selfish. I'm entitled. And that's why I think that the words that we choose and that we wield towards other people are so powerful, and that we really do need to be very careful and deliberate about what we say to others, because you don't know what state that person is in. You don't know if they have the mechanism to shield themselves against your perception. And on one hand, it's nobody's responsibility to be hypervigilant to the emotional states and past traumas of a person, but it is a responsibility that I would like to have. And that's very personal to me, and that doesn't mean that everyone has to be this way, although I do wish that people would be more careful and more deliberate about what they say to others. But what I've been learning is that I'm not a bitch, and I'm not disruptive, and I'm not too much, and I'm not too complex. Have I been too complex for some people? Yes. But does that mean I'm too complex? No, it doesn't. And you're not too complex either. Have I been disruptive? Yes. Like without a shadow of a doubt, I've been disruptive. But am I disruptive? No. And have I been selfish? Yes. That is one of my flaws that I feel the most guilty about, that I feel the most ashamed over. I can be very selfish. I can be very self-absorbed. But is that what I am? No. It's not. And I think that it can be so easy to paint broad strokes across people, not even just ourselves. It's very easy to do it for ourselves, but it can be easy to do with other people. And sometimes when we're tired or we're feeling depressed and it's difficult to process our thoughts and we only have the energy for generalizations, I think, that's why we end up there. And I've been there, but I think that part of healing for me and part of trying to become the person that I want to be is learning to be more specific, more detailed, to add more nuance into my life in as many ways as I can. For a very long time, I felt that I had to get rid of that nuance. I had to get rid of all those stipulations and the different shades of colors. Like, maybe the rainbow is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, but like there's so many different shades of red and orange and like, every color. I got rid of all the different shades because I thought that was too much. I thought that, well, no one wants to hear all of that. It's easier to just generalize. And in some situations it is. There are situations where maybe it is more effective for whatever your goal is to generalize. But that doesn't mean you just do that all across the board. And for me, that's part of how my autism manifests is I think, well, I can't do this thing, and then I just don't do it in every single area of life at all. Or I do it in every single area of life. And unfortunately, one approach does not work for every area of life. But when you struggle to see the lines between the different areas, it's hard to know how to adjust yourself and your behavior according to that different environment. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about how I'm all of the things, and that has scared me for quite a while. That the idea that I am more than just a caricature. And in part, it's scary to hold more than one idea in your head at the same time when you're a system. And again, to preface this, I'm medically recognized as having dissociative identity disorder. I just don't have a formal diagnosis, as the professional that I saw believes that Um, they don't want to give that diagnosis to people because they feel that those with dissociative identity disorder on their chart get worse medical treatment. Also, again, I'm not a medical professional. I am not someone that you should go to for advice regarding anything mental health related. I'm just sharing my experiences. But because of my DID, it has been very difficult for me to hold more than one idea of who I am at the same time. And it was a lot more comfortable for me to see myself as Daisy and to see all of the ways in which I was different from my headmates. And that makes sense because we're separate for a reason. Getting closer means, unfortunately, that we have to realize things that are painful. And the way that I see it, and this is just my perspective, I'm not, take this with a grain of salt, my opinions are nothing. To me, to have DID is like this, a total and ultimate rejection of the self. That there are all of these parts of me that for so long I just could not, I couldn't even say that. I couldn't say these are parts of me and they're me but not me, and all of that. I couldn't say it because it was too painful. And I'm at this place now where it's weird. I'm starting to feel more so like I'm okay with losing Daisy. I'm okay with losing this hyper individualistic mindset that I feel that I've had my entire life. And it weirdly doesn't feel like loss to me. It feels like growth. And I think about my headmates and I think about how there's a bit of me in all of them. And they would tell you this too, and they tell me that they think that I'm like the core, if that means anything. I know, not that I'm the original, because if we're going with the leading theory of structural dissociation, there is no original, but my headmates will express to me that they think that me, Daisy, is like who we would have ended up being if we didn't develop DID. And it's interesting because I've spent so long being jealous of them. I mean, my first instinct is to say I've been so jealous of these other people. But they really are facets of me. They're different me's, but not me. And I'm starting to appreciate that in a way. A very mystical, weird way. It feels heartwarming. And I don't know if I'm ever going to be one person again. I don't know truly if that's possible. Well, I know it is possible because I'm aware that there are systems who have said that they've achieved final fusion. But I guess, and these are just my own thoughts, please take them with a grain of salt, just processing. The systems that I'm aware of that have reached final fusion were on the smaller side, and to my knowledge are not polyfragmented, which my system is. And I suppose that my logic is like, wouldn't it be more difficult to finally fuse with a system who has so many different parts versus a system who has 5 parts? And maybe that's not how it is, but to me that's sort of what I think. But I really hope and I pray that over time as I process my life and I listen to them and I help them get what they need, that will just happen over time. And one day I'll wake up or I'll just be out and about and I'll realize I haven't switched in a really long time. My head feels clear. My eyes don't go blurry so much anymore. I want that day to come. I really do. And I think that part of getting there is giving up this hyper individualistic mindset that I've had, this I'm different from other people, different from external people, and as well different from my headmates. Because ultimately we were the same scared little girl who didn't have what she needed. And this was the only coping mechanism she had. And sorry. Wow. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. But I think that the more compassion that I have for myself, the more compassion that I have for them, that I'll end up getting there. And it's not going to happen overnight. Although I pray a lot that I'll wake up and it'll just be gone. But I don't know. Logic, intuition tells me that it will be much more gradual if it does happen. And I'm sort of understanding now more concretely what it is that I have to do, that I need to work on. And I was purposefully blind to the fact that I have DID for a very long time. I knew that I had it. I was told that I had it. I was in treatment for it. And I just wanted to deny the fact that this was real. I wanted to live my own life. I wanted to make my own decisions. And in doing that, I hurt parts of me. I hurt myself by trying to help myself. That's hard to understand. And yeah, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely just rambling, and I know this is probably like so long at this point. But yeah. There's so much on my mind right now. I'm probably gonna end up making some more videos regarding the different things that I'm dealing with, like in more depth, but just a little vague overview for now of just some thoughts. So I hope you're doing well, and I hope that whatever it is that you're dealing with or what you're going through, that you continue to fight for it and know that I'm here and I'm cheering you on.